What is going on, my Houston Texans family? We are getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. If you are deciding where to watch the draft, look no further. Me, Athletically Declined, Dave and Buster's, we are hosting a watch party at the Houston location. There's going to be prizes, giveaways, games, celebrity guest appearances. When you guys saw me do that interview with Paul Wall, asking him the question, when the Texans win a Super Bowl, what song is going to make everyone stop what they're doing and go crazy? And he answered, "Want to Be a Baller" by Lil Troy. That was at a Dave and Buster's event. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're definitely trying to take these watch parties a step further. So, if you guys want to be in attendance, it would mean the absolute world to me. Drop down below if you would be interested in this watch party for night one, round one of the NFL draft. Without further ado, we got a Houston Texans 3-round mock draft. However, this time I used a different simulator. I went PFF instead of PFN and see what those experts have to say about this NFL draft class. With that being said, my name is Ruben Calvillo. This is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. So please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, in the first round, pick 25 for the Houston Texans, I once again went with someone who we haven't talked about yet here on the channel, someone who is projected to be a early second rounder. However, pick 25, it's basically at the end of the first round. So I have no issue reaching a couple of draft picks and getting your franchise left tackle, right? I'm giving you some spoilers of where I went. With that being said, I also love, selecting Josh Connelly Jr. in the first round, so I could also take advantage of that fifth-year option. But that's who I went, Josh Connelly Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. He stands at 6'4", 315 pounds, only 21 years old. Dear God, am I getting old. Connelly has very good movement skills for a player who also brings adequate size and plus strength to the tackle position. His game can lack some anticipation and strength, but if he continues to improve in those areas, he holds the skill set to be a reliable NFL starter who can be impactful for a zone blocking scheme. His movement skills and length are starting NFL caliber, and his pre-snap stance is wide and athletic, leaving him ready to explode up or back. His foot speed allows him to run gracefully in zone blocking and mirror pass rushers. His hands are quick to strike and reset, but inconsistent in placement and patience. He can be a strong player, but doesn't always show it. When he confidently lines up defenders between the shoulders, he packs a good punch. When caught off guard, he is too easily discarded. The 21-year-old lacks consistent displacement strength for power blocking schemes. He is a competitive player who shows good effort through the whistle. Ideally, he won't have to start right away in the NFL, giving him time to improve and unlock a high talent ceiling. Now, I will say he doesn't have to start week one for the Houston Texans. That might be Cam Robinson. I think it is going to be Cam Robinson. But that shouldn't stop a competition from happening during training camp. And, hey, may the best man win. If the rookie wins, you got to go with the rookie here. The Houston Texans desperately need themselves some offensive line help, and I think Josh Connelly Jr. is a step in the right direction of keeping C.J. Stroud upright. Now, in the second round, pick 58, I also went with someone who we haven't talked about yet, but now that I'm reading his PFF draft profile, he's getting more love on the PFN mock draft simulator. But I went with Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. He had a fantastic year for the Mississippi Rebels. Him and Jackson Dart went absolutely nuts. As you know, Jackson Dart is going to be a first-round pick in this year's draft, but who knows where Dart is going to go. With that being said, Harris projects, oh, my light just went out. Harris projects as an alluring wide receiver 3 type for an offense that likes to push the ball down the field. The Texans do that. His route tree and separation rates leave something to be desired, but he can keep a defense honest with his field stretching ability. Harris was an under-recruited athlete out of high school who mainly played quarterback but transitioned to receiver when he arrived at Louisiana Tech. He played 3 seasons with the Bulldogs before joining Ole Miss and becoming a go-to receiver in Lane Kiffin's spread vertical offense. He brings above average size to the position, has a ton of experience catching deep passes, but despite Harris' size and outside skill set, he does not have much experience versus press due to the nature of Ole Miss's offense. He also lacks varied releases off the line outside of a speed release. Harris' contested catch numbers are lower than ideal, and his separation rate against simple coverage is below 20%. His long speed is adequate for his role, even if it's more build-up speed than quick twitch speed. He possesses quick feet and hips for his size, but he doesn't run many routes outside of basic goals, post, and comebacks. He also has some nice impact blocks on tape. Now, if it lets me see his stats this year for Ole Miss, he caught 60 balls for 1,030 yards and 7 touchdowns. The years prior, 986 yards, 8 touchdowns, 925 yards, 10 touchdowns. So if Trey Harris is still figuring out how to become a wide receiver, I'm trusting coaching here. I'm trusting my wide receiver coach. I'm trusting my offensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, to get Trey Harris to the to the receiver we know what that he can eventually become. Wide receiver 3 sounds exactly what the Houston Texans need right now. But, of course, you want him to be a 2 and complement Nico Collins going up for the future. But in the second round, I went Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. I wish that PFF would have gave him some more love, though. Now, remember, guys, the Houston Texans have 2 selections in the 3rd round. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to use one of them to trade up. I might think they also use next year's extra second-round pick that they got in the Laramie Tunsil deal to potentially make a trade. Nick Caserio was very aggressive, but if they stayed put, I went with Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. There's NFL blood in him. Taylor is young and could still be growing into his talent and, more importantly, his strength. In his current form, he is a tight end 2/3 candidate, more of a move tight end detached from the line of scrimmage as a receiver, but if he gets stronger, he can be more versatile and consistent contributor. His best work comes as a receiver. He is smoother than he is explosive and twitchy out of his stance. He has some nuance to his route running, but lacks difference-making agility and flexibility for a full route tree. He's effective as a vertical receiver. His separation scores are good versus zone, but land in just the 29th percentile against single coverage over the last 2 years. He also didn't give much ROI after the catch from a dynamic make guys miss standpoint. At his current rate, he should not be put on the line of scrimmage. His blocking technique can be good, but he lacks true strength to create pass and run blocking situations or maintain blocks in pass blocking situations. In order to be a true versatile tight end threat, he will need to get stronger. His hands are generally reliable in contested and non-contested catch situations. His stats for the LSU Tigers, and I think he spent all 3 years at LSU, 546 yards, 2 touchdowns, 348 yards, 1 touchdown, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns. So not a lot of work in the touchdown department there, but this is the 3rd round, ladies and gentlemen. And what did our new offensive coordinator say? I like tight ends. He might have said love, but I think it's like. My final selection in the 3rd round, I went with Wyatt Millam, offensive tackle out of West Virginia. Now, he was a left tackle. Millam is a strong run blocker between the tackles with good power at contact, heavy and reliable hands, and good grip strength. He can get in trouble when truly left on an island in pass protection, which is why a move inside could be best to get the most out of his strength while mitigating flexibility, agility, risk. On 1,155 pass blocking snaps at left tackle over that 3-year period, he did not allow a single sack. His best reps comes from when he's run blocking. He shows good tenacity with a strong punch at contact before following up with great grip strength to latch on and take defenders for a ride. He has the initial explosiveness to block inside and mid-zone constant, but is more impactful when blocking power. Though he is listed at 6'6", his arm length is well below average for an offensive tackle play in the league. This causes him to lean into contact at times, often becoming unbalanced and too on his toes. While he has a good first step quickness, some stiffness in his lower half movements make shuffling with the defender across his face and deep dropbacks in pass protection a challenge. He is also uprunning his stance, which can cause some balance issues when asked to pivot and anchor when he can keep defenders square between the shoulders. He has good anchoring technique and strength. That's who I am taking with my last selection in the third round. And ladies and gentlemen, I got myself an offensive tackle, not only in the first round, an offensive tackle in the third round. Potentially my left tackle of the future, and potentially my right guard of the future, because I do think Titus Howard is going to be a left guard for here on out with the Houston Texans. But Wyatt Millen, he gets to move inside. West Virginia Mountaineers. I love that. The Houston Texans need a whole identity change, and someone like a Wyatt Millen, someone like a Josh Connelly Jr. out of Oregon, they change that. With that being said, guys, you let me know how I did on this mock draft. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.